Good afternoon. My name is Heidi Hayes. I'm the co-founder of Donor Egg Bank USA. And like many of you that are watching this video, I was in your shoes. My husband and I also went through infertility and ultimately made the decision to use donor eggs. And this is where my heart really was with so many men and women who make this decision. And I know it's a difficult decision. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about frozen donor eggs from the United States and our guarantee program that will guarantee you a baby or give you all of your money back. Let's get started. So we'll cover my story because I just want you to see that I've walked a few miles in your shoes. I have children through both adoption and donor egg, and it's really great to make that comparison. I hope you'll find it helpful in your decision making. We'll review the success rates of Donor Egg Bank USA and frozen eggs in general. Some tips on how to select a donor, how to get that guarantee of having a baby or getting your money back, and then any additional options for pursuing donor egg treatment. So here's a picture of my husband and I. We were in our early 30s, and I never thought that infertility would happen to us. You know, I was a young woman. It should have come easy for us, but it didn't. After 11 cycles of IVF and several miscarries, we decided to leave the infertility route and to adopt. We adopted our son from Guatemala. We were so excited to be back and finally have a baby in our arms. It was so joyful that I didn't feel complete, but I knew I wanted another baby. So we went back to Guatemala to get baby number 2, and I wanted a girl. Here we are with her. We're about a year into the process. We visited her multiple times. We just loved up on her and couldn't wait for her to come home with us. And we'd been successful before, so there was nothing that I thought would happen that we wouldn't be successful again. But the worst came true. And this photo is the last time I saw my daughter. My husband and I, we went 6 years in this adoptive process, only to find out from Homeland Security that she would never come home and be with us. This changed the course of my life forever. I had to make the decision of what to do again. Would I adopt or would I really move forward with donor eggs? So we were at that crossroads and we determined that we really had to think it through. When we looked at the data, we could find that the costs were similar. You know, it's not just the adoption costs that you pay for an agency, but there's a home studies, there are fingerprints, there's legal fees. All of those little costs add up significantly. We learned that 10 to 20% of adoptions fail. We were fortunate that our first adoption went through, but that's not always the case. We learned that our second time, but I have many friends that also have had failed adoptions. I liked the fact that for the first time in my infertility period or journey, I was going to be in control. I actually would get to choose the donor. It was going to be my choice. You know, there's a short wait time when it comes to an IVF cycle. Once they put that embryo back, it's 2 weeks. Yes, I'm the first to tell you it's a very difficult 2 weeks, but it is 2 weeks nonetheless. And I like the fact that we would be able to use sperm from my husband. Therefore, there would be a genetic connection. And I was reminded that the egg is really just one cell. And yes, it's a very big and it's a special cell of the body, but you still have to use a microscope to see it. The baby that would come out of me would be a baby that would be weaved together by my womb, by my blood, by what I ate. And so it helped me recognize that I would get to be the biological mother to this baby, even if I wasn't going to be genetically related. And finally, it was really important to be able to bond in utero. I love my adoptive son like none other, but they don't put the baby in your arms and you're immediately bonded. I didn't have the same experience through donor eggs. You do have that bond from that utero process. So I look to women such as Marsha Cross. In the thought process or the space of donor eggs, she's truly a hero to me. And I'm going to really read this to you because it's so special. She says, I don't like the average woman being misled into thinking that fertility is something that goes on forever. When a woman gets older, they get donor eggs, which doesn't make the baby any less beautiful or perfect. One's own eggs only last so long. It's the permission to move forward, to use donor eggs. Her children are beautiful, and you can see how much she loves them. So why won't your eggs last forever? It's an issue of biology. Right around age 34, our fertility starts to decline. And you can see that it actually declines from the very beginning, but it falls off the cliff when you get to that age. Between 40 and 50, you're moving into menopause, and it's highly unlikely to be pregnant at all. The other thing that happens that as our eggs age, they also can be less vibrant. Therefore, there could be more chromosomal abnormalities, and you're less likely to bring that pregnancy all the way to a baby. And there's also higher likelihoods of things such as Down syndrome. With donor eggs, treatment can work for you. The success rates are really good and they're growing. We started Donor Egg Bank USA in 2012, and we provide you all of our data from the very beginning. The clinical pregnancy rate from the beginning, 55%, but you can see how much we've grown. In 2019, and the same as in 2020, we have a 61% clinical pregnancy rate. That's wonderful. It just shows you how well donor egg treatment can work. And if you go through multiple cycles, you're likely to bring home a baby. It's not hard to find a donor. In Canada, we have over 220 Canada-compliant donors. We do adhere to the new Canadian guidelines, and all of our ova have been screened according to those guidelines. So we really take a look at the donor's medical history. She has to be non-smoking. She has to have a good fertility health assessment. We do genetic screening and testing. We look at all of the infectious disease screening. We want to review her entire family history, and we use guidelines from genetic counselors as to do that. It may not show up, an issue may not show up in genetic screening, but it might show up in the entire multi-generational family screening. And then lastly, we drug screen our donors to make sure that they are good candidates for donor egg. I should also say we also do psychological reviews with the donors as well. So some of the tips for selecting a donor. When my husband and I sat down to look at this process, there was really no guidance as to what to look for, how to do it. But one thing that I knew from the beginning is that there was going to be a day that I was going to tell my children about the day I chose their donor. And so I wanted to enjoy the process. We actually got a bottle of wine and we looked at every donor. I mean, we tried to make it fun. It was a memorable experience. You have to know that there's no mini you out there. You can plan to match some of the most important things that you want to match, but frankly, we all have our faults. And this is also a great opportunity and a time to look for a donor that maybe has the opposite of that. For example, I don't sing at all. I'm really not the person you want to stand next to in church and hear sing. So I really wanted a donor that could sing. And it was important to me. I now have to listen to my daughter who likes to belt out and sing, and she loves to sing in the shower. So it's a really great thing. And I'm really pleased that I looked for that weakness in me to be a strength in my donor. Look for the intellectual potential of your donor, not just how much education she's had. The donors start at age 21, and we take donors up to age 32. A first-time donor is between the age 21 and 28. But I don't know what you were doing at 21. But when I was 21, I was actually still in college and hadn't gone on to pursue a master's degree or any further education. So just look for what they hope to do. Some of these donors might also not be in a financial position to go to college. And it might be something that they aspire to do, but will do a little later in life and not as they come right out of high school. We often get asked about blood types. The only time it is necessary to match the blood type is if you do not intend to tell the resulting child that they were donor conceived. But I would caution you, because we're finding that with the DNA banks out there, more and more children are actually learning that they were donor conceived, and that can be quite jarring. We believe it is likely better to have that conversation with your child when they're young and when they're growing, so it isn't such a surprise later in life. So you want to bring home a baby, or you want your money back. At least that's how I felt. We had put thousands and thousands of dollars into the IVF process, and we were empty-handed at the end of it. And then we put thousands of dollars into our adoption process that went on for 6 years. And again, we were empty-handed. By the time I got to donor egg, I just didn't want to put any more money in it. I wanted someone to tell me, you're going to have this baby, or we're going to make you financially whole. And it's exactly what I needed. And it's why in 2012, we launched the company with a guarantee in mind. I'm going to walk you through each of our plans, and then I'll take you to the guarantee plan. So the first one is just an egg lot. You can get just the eggs, and we guarantee 1 blastocyst embryo. The second is you can get 2 egg lots, and we give you a discount, and we guarantee 2 blastocyst embryos. The single cycle plan is 1 egg lot and all the treatment together packaged into 1 payment. The goal here is to give you a guarantee for not just the blastocyst embryo, but also the treatment cycle. The treatment cycle includes your monitoring, your egg warming, the ICSI or the insemination of that egg, culturing that embryo to a blastocyst stage, and then the transfer of that blastocyst. It does not include the pregnancy test or any OB care. Typically, those are covered by your insurance plan. The Assured Refund plan. This is our guarantee plan. Why would you choose it? Because we know that 95% of the women that want to be in this plan are selected into the plan. And 92% of them will be successful in having a baby. What would cause you not to be selected into the Assured Refund plan? If you do not have a uterus that we believe can carry a baby, and I want to caution you there, because when I was going through my IVF treatment, I believe the problem was my uterus. I couldn't carry a baby. I mean, I had 2 miscarries, and so it had to be my uterus. But what I learned is it wasn't my uterus. It was my eggs. It was the quality of my eggs. So of all the women that come to us, 95% of them have a great uterus coupled with good sperm. So it's also a great way to get a second opinion on if you think you can be successful with donor eggs, is to try to be in the Assured Refund program. It is our most popular plan. And it's because it offers up to 6 treatment cycles with frozen donor egg, all of the frozen embryo transfer cycles included. And it will guarantee you a baby that you bring home from the hospital. If you have a baby at the hospital that lives a short period of time, that's not our goal. Our goal is for you to have a baby to know and love. This protects you from those miscarries, from that late-term pregnancy loss. It protects you the entire journey of your pregnancy. And we will provide you your money back, what you paid for the Assured Refund plan, back to you if you're not successful, so that you can use that money for other areas of your life. And if you want to leave the plan at any time, this does happen. We've seen couples divorce or for whatever reason feel that they can't continue. We give you 50% of your plan fee back to you, a partial refund. So, what's included? We covered it quickly, but it's everything that you get in a single cycle plan. That egg thaw, fertilization, embryo treatment, transfer, the recipient monitoring, but it also includes the cryopreservation of your frozen embryos at the blastocyst stage, storage for up to 1 year or the termination of the contract, all the frozen embryo transfers that you might need to have a baby, packing, shipping, handling, all of it's included. Our goal is for you to be successful. Our goal is for you to be able to pay for this plan once and to just relax. Move forward with treatment. Focus 100% on just being pregnant, not on how you're going to pay for it moving forward. And then once you have that baby, we want to protect your baby with cord blood or storage. Now, in Canada, this can be a bit more expensive to do it with us. I put this in here just because I want to encourage you to also consider some of your local options to do this. So some of the exclusions to the Assured Refund plan: non-obstructive azoospermia. You would need to use donor sperm in this case to be accepted into it. If you're trying to do family balancing, which I don't think happens much here in Canada, PGTA, we will consider this on a case-by-case basis. Significant uterine factor, as I mentioned, untreated hydrocephalus, you just need to get it corrected. That's a uterine condition. And then a history of recurrent miscarriages with donor eggs. And again, we take that by a case-by-case review. Sometimes you'll have insurance. Now in Canada, we know that several of the provinces are offering insurance on that first cycle. And we do the Assured Refund with government funding. That is one way to go. Another way to go, if you have hopefully an employer that is offering you full coverage, which I know doesn't happen very frequently, but might happen. We have a multi-egg lot plan that's set up that we provide just the eggs. The treatment is not covered in this plan. So here I am over the age of 40 with my twins. We are proponents of a single embryo transfer. We only want you to transfer one embryo. Trust me, it's great to have twins, but if I could do it again, I would have them individually so I could celebrate and enjoy each and every milestone. And I'd be a little less exhausted along the way. But I was successful. Donor eggs were successful for me. It helped me get over that hump. And I had all these fears going into the process. And I just wanted to cover those with you as well briefly, because you might have the same fears. And I'm going to be here to tell you it's going to be okay. Will I love this baby? Oh my gosh. You will love the baby. That baby will be every part of you. And you will forget time and time again that you used a donor egg. because how you raise your baby, they will take on your mannerisms. They'll say the same things you do. They become your mini you. Can you carry this baby to be successful? Most of the time, yes. From time to time, gestational surrogacy or gestational carrier is necessary, but typically not. Typically, it's the quality of the eggs. Even me, at the age of 32, it was my eggs. Can I emotionally and physically do another cycle? There's an emotional cost to this process, and I get that. It is exhausting. I didn't know if I had it in me. Having gone through so much hurt, disappointment, I was fearful. But I'm telling you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You can do it again. That baby is there. You just have to get the will to keep moving forward. Will I find a donor I like? With 220 options, you will definitely find a donor you like. They won't always be the absolutely 100% perfect donor, but they will give you a beautiful baby. And can you afford it? You can afford it. There's financing available. We do work with Medicard in Canada. These are the times you stretch. I borrowed money from my parents. We took our bank account down to $70. And I would do it all again. And if you do the assured refund plan, if you don't have a baby, you get that money back. So, I'm here to tell you that we're all on this journey, even though your journey will be individual. But what binds us together is the deep desire to be a parent and our willingness to persevere to make our dreams come true. It's not if you will have a baby, it's when you will have a baby and how much money will you spend to have that baby. It's not an easy process, especially when you have friends and family that get to do it for free. But it's so well worth the journey. And it's worth every penny, every tear I shed. It's worth it all. I'm so glad to be a mom. And I know you will too, whether you're a single mom by choice, a heterosexual couple, a gay couple, a lesbian couple, or any combination of families we see today. You will be happy that you took the journey. So I thank you for attending. It's such a pleasure to share this journey with you. It's one I feel passionate about, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.